Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn how to write an argumentative essay. What is an argumentative essay? Argumentative essay uses evidence and facts to support the claim it is making. Its purpose is to persuade the readers to agree with the argument being made. A good argumentative essay will use facts and evidence to support the argument. So in the previous videos, we saw how to write a narrative essay and a descriptive essay. While writing a narrative essay, you have to write about the real-time experience you had in the past. And in a descriptive essay, you are supposed to describe a situation or a place. But for an argumentative essay, they'll give you a topic and you have to take a clear stand. You have to either support the topic or oppose the given statement. Okay, and see the example. Students should be allowed to use electronic gadgets in the classroom. Argue for or against the topic. So the last sentence is very important. Argue for or against the topic. So, what is the topic? Students should be allowed to use electronic gadgets in the classroom. If you agree to this statement, you have to write for the topic. If you do not agree, then you have to write against the topic. Okay? And while writing the answer, you have to use facts and evidence. That is the most important thing. You are not supposed to write some imaginary things. You have to use facts. You can take examples from the society and write about this topic. Some of the points have to be kept in mind while writing an argumentative essay. In an argumentative essay, you'll be asked to write either for or against the given proposition. So after reading the question several times, you have to first take a clear stand, which is very, very important. You have to either write for the topic or against the topic. This is the first and the most important thing you have to have in mind while writing an argumentative essay. And then the next point is gathering valid points. You have to gather at least 8 to 10 valid points. Because it's a 20-mark question, you cannot just give 2 or 3 points. You will not get marks if you do so. So, you have to gather at least 8 to 10 valid points. You should not repeat the same point again and again. If you do so, you'll definitely lose marks. And the next thing is making these valid points as the key sentence in each paragraph. You all know the structure of an essay, isn't it? In an essay, you should have an introduction, body, and a conclusion. And the body of the essay should be divided into paragraphs. And when you write an essay, you have to write at least 5 paragraphs. Okay, you know that. So you have to make these valid points as the key sentence in each paragraph. I'm not telling you to write 10 or 15 paragraphs. If you have 10 valid points, you can combine those points. 2 points into 1, 3 points into 1. According to the number of points, you can do that. But at least a minimum of 5 paragraphs should be written in the body of the argumentative essay with 8 to 10 valid points in it. Okay, right. What does mean by a key sentence? The first sentence of a paragraph is called as the key sentence, and the key sentence will tell what that paragraph is about. Okay, have you understood, students? So please keep this in mind. Then the next thing is you have to justify your stand with appropriate arguments, examples, or justifications. So you have to first take a clear stand, and then you have to justify your stand with your appropriate argument. Your argument should be logical, and you have to give examples and justifications. You should not forget. If your argumentative essay is not without examples, you won't get marks. And your argument should also be logical. And the last thing is you are not supposed to sit on the fence. What does it mean? Some students always have the tendency to sit on the fence at the end of the essay when while writing the conclusion of the essay. What will they do? They just argue for or against the topic, and then at last they'll say that every coin has two sides, so we can take it in that way or this way, so both are applicable. We need both the things, all these things. There are disadvantages as well as advantages, so they come or they compromise like that, or it is called as sitting on the fence. You have to either support the topic or oppose the topic. Okay, and if you fail to do that, you will lose mark for this question. So all these points have to be remembered while writing an argumentative essay. The following things will decide the overall grade of the essay. Now we have learned how to write an argumentative essay. You have to take a clear stand. You have to gather 8 to 10 valid points. Your argument should be logical, and it is better if you don't use first person narration. You should not use I or we. Okay, unless the question demands you to write so. Now let us have a look at the general guidelines, and the following things will decide the overall grade of the essay you write. The first one is the quality of language employed. Employed means the quality of the language you use in the essay. The next one is the range and appropriateness of vocabulary and sentence structure. So the vocabulary, that is the words you use, should be appropriate to the context, and the sentence structure should be proper. The next one is syntax. So what is a syntax? The arrangement of words and phrases to create well-formed sentences in a language is called as the syntax. So when you use words, you have to arrange the words and phrases in a proper way. You should not place the words here and there. You should not mess up a sentence. The sentence should be a well formed sentence. That is the meaning of this point. The next one is correctness of grammatical constructions. Grammatically, your constructions, that is, your sentences, have to be correct. The last one is punctuation and spelling. You have to concentrate on spelling and punctuation marks. You have to use proper punctuation at the proper place. So all these things should be kept in mind when you write an essay, and your overall grade will be given depending on all these things. So the examiner will take into account the quality of language, range and appropriateness of vocabulary, syntax, correctness of grammatical construction, punctuation and spellings, and give you appropriate marks. Marks will be deducted for gross errors like errors of agreement and number. So you have to concentrate on the subject and verb agreement, and marks will be reduced for serious tense errors, wrong verb form, elementary errors of sentence structure, misuse of vocabulary, errors in spellings, punctuation, or lack of it. What does it mean? They'll reduce marks if you use the punctuation mark wrongly. Also, if you don't use the punctuation marks. Okay. Then the last one is use of incorrect or irrelevant idioms, misuse of pronouns, articles, and preposition. So marks will be detected or reduced if you use incorrect or irrelevant idioms, and if you use or misuse of pronouns he, she, it, and they. If you use these pronouns wrongly, they'll reduce marks. And you know the articles a, and the are called as the articles. The is called as the definite articles. And preposition. You all know about preposition. So making mistakes in all these things will reduce the marks. Okay. Will make you get low marks for your essay. So you have to keep all these things in mind while you write your argumentative essay. And the last point, that is general guidelines, is applicable for all the questions, for all the essay questions for your language paper. I hope you all have understood it, students. But one thing you have to keep in mind while writing an argumentative essay, what is that? You're not supposed to sit on the fence. You have to take a clear stand and you have to justify your argument by giving examples. While writing the examples, don't write the example in the form of a short story. No, you're not supposed to write like that. You have to write the example precisely. It should be up to the point. Don't write stories after stories. Your argumentative essay should have valid points. If you follow all these instructions, it will be very, very easy for you to score 20 out of 20 marks for the argumentative essay. If you fail to do so, you'll get very low marks. So please try to write the answer for this, for the example question I gave you in the second slide. Okay.